speaking of storytelling, man, if you guys haven't watched the promo between Becky Lynch and CM Punk on this past edition of Raw in Paris, man, it was fantastic storytelling. But this is a part of a greater story that's being told. And this is really becoming, God, the story of 2025, 24, this rivalry between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Like, we thought it kind of ended at the Netflix debut, and that was just like chapter one. It really has continued. It has been one of the best storylines in the company. We saw it take another level with, oh my God, it broke my heart, but I knew it was coming. CM Punk gets, wins the title, beats Gunther, overcomes it all, and Seth cashes in. Then we take that on to Clash in Paris. We see the Vision is barred from ringside, and something I put on Ringside until a very long time ago, Seth suggesting Becky Lynch should join the Vision, and she eventually does. She screws Punk over when he's got Seth Rollins dead to rights to win the title. Then we get this fascinating clash. And this is why Becky Lynch is really the GOAT, as Sports Illustrated says. She says all the time, the GOAT of women's wrestling. She can hold her own against the best with the best of the best. It's a fantastic emotional segment between the two, with her and getting in on Punk, and Punk with a great response, and then her physically striking him, and he's going to be respectful. He's not going to hit a woman. This isn't the Attitude Era, but we all know what this is building to. The crowd in Paris completely knew what this is building to, and that is the return of AJ Lee. There's been a bunch of reports about her possibly already being talked about in creative. This seems like it's definitely happening. What's crazy about this is if AJ Lee return, it would be interesting. It'd be fun. There's a lot of people like myself that loved her, but because of this story, would you say her return is going to be one of the biggest of 2025 because it's a mix of a legend coming back, but it's that I can't wait for her to get her hands on Becky element that makes this a huge comeback this year?
Yeah, that story element has definitely been the most surprising part, because let's face it, for the longest time now, fans have been clamoring for at least one more appearance of AJ Lee, whether it's the Rumble, whatever the case may be, a Mania match and all that stuff. Credit to all those involved, particularly AJ Lee, for resisting, and for, I'm sure she has her reasons, but that hasn't been satiated. So it's been building up for so long that now the return is going to be a huge deal. This generation of women's wrestlers, a lot of them were inspired by the very few that were allowed to shine in that era, and primarily among them is AJ Lee. So to have her mixing it up with like a Becky Lynch is a dream scenario for a lot of women in the back and a lot of fans of women's wrestling and seeing how it's come up in WWE. For it to happen now under these circumstances is a surprise, because I really thought it would just be like, a Rumble return. Here she is. They kind of develop a feud for her, and kind of that blueprint that they've played time and time again for other returning talent. But to have a feud built almost anticipating her return, because at this point, if they don't pay it off, that's a huge miss, because they're actually alluding to it. Like you said, the fans are on board with it. This has to happen now. And what it does is going to be bonkers reaction. What we're hoping is a fantastic match, because, it's for A-list talents. I'm sure AJ, got some rust to dust off, but it shouldn't be a thing with, a dancing partner like Becky. And when you got, Seth and Punk, doing their thing as well. This has the makings. It's already feud of the year, as you alluded to. Punk and Rollins have been lighting it up for a couple of years now. And now with this element added to it, it's just whatever event they're leading to, whether it's Survivor Series or even WrestlePalooza, if they want to make a splash on ESPN, it's going to be huge when Light It Up hits the speakers.
Yeah, I think this is definitely being set up for WrestlePalooza, especially Punk. Excuse me. Mentioning kind of on SmackDown, where SmackDown on Raw, mentioned where SmackDown this week is going to be in Chicago, their hometown, where they live. Yeah, it feels like it's definitely going there. And I think and Dave Meltzer mentioned that recently on Wrestle Observer Radio too, and that it's the first show on ESPN, so they're going to go big, just like they did with Netflix. So you're going to have Cena, Brock Lesnar as the main event, and you're going to have this as the co-main event, and this is fantastic. I still remember fondly Seth and Becky versus Baron Corbin and oh my lord, I forget her name.
Oh yeah, that's how much of an impact she made during her time. But Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. Yeah. That feud was great. It was highly entertaining. So now you got Seth and Becky Lynch at a high level of being really good heels, which is the ultimate hero in CM Punk and AJ. What's crazy about AJ Lee? AJ Lee left 10 years ago. She's still only 38 years old. She's not even in her 40s. And if you follow her, she's still in fantastic shape. And she was back in fantastic shape. And no one's expecting a barn burner, but she's in good enough shape. And it's just such a good veteran. I'm sure the preparation will be good. That'll be. I mean, that's going to be the match most people are going to be excited for at WrestlePalooza. Not Brock and Cena for the 10,000th time.
100% feel you, man. And yeah, AJ Lee pulled a Barry Sanders, man. She pulled a Jim Brown, just retired, during her prime and just pulled her career. But, it's great to see her back. But it'll be great to see her back, if that's the case. But yeah, I'm sure it won't take a lot for her to just deliver. She's very much a part of this current crop of talent, so it shouldn't be a thing to get back in the mix. Yeah,
it's exciting, and I think it's going to happen. That's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to WrestlePalooza. Who would have thought a lot of people would be pumped for WrestlePalooza? That's probably what's going to happen.